I showed a green light today, and it's a green light to continue to go in the right direction. We are clearly on the other side of this pandemic.
The situation happening in New York is far different than what is happening in Texas and other places. For example, there will be, unfortunately, more people who pass away in one day in New York than we will have in Texas in the entirety of this whole pandemic situation.
You got a lot of people in your profession who waxed poetically for weeks and weeks about how Florida was going to be just like New York. Wait 2 weeks, Florida's going to be next. Just like Italy, wait 2 weeks. Well, hell, we're 8 weeks away from that, and it hasn't happened. So we've succeeded, and I think that people just don't want to recognize it because it challenges their narrative, it challenges their assumption.
Ah, yes. You idiots, you got it wrong. You said wait 2 weeks. We're 8 weeks. We won. We have succeeded, said Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on May 20th. Well, Mr. Governor, what exactly is success? Remember, the president urged all those governors to ignore his own CDC's guidelines. He told everyone, American citizens, young and old, that they should view themselves as warriors going out into the battlefield. And those governors went out and they listened to Trump. They dangerously stake themselves and their public reputation to optimism. And the cardinal lesson of this pandemic is that if you stake yourself to optimism, you will move too late and you will get eaten alive. We saw this in the last 4 months. We should not have to keep learning this lesson, but apparently have to once again. And so now we are in totally uncharted waters. And it's not because no other countries have had this challenge of a new outbreak. Many other countries locked down, reopened, and then had a new uptake because that's the way the virus works. But having touched the hot stove once, they did not touch it again. And so those countries took dramatic proactive action. In South Korea, officials closed all the bars and nightclubs in Seoul after just 40 new cases were linked to a man who went clubbing one weekend. In Singapore, schools and most workplaces shut down again after seeing just 1,000 new cases in a week back in April. Early this month, Beijing also closed schools and urged people to work from home after confirming just over 100 new cases in a week. We had 40,000 cases in this country today. We have gone through much of this pandemic looking at other countries' curves and trying to compare where we are in relation to them. Well, this is what our curve looks like. Almost no other country has done this. Locked down, decreased cases, brought the virus under control, and then come out and hit a new record on the other side. And we have an enormous population under the leadership of a whole bunch of different states, all making these decisions. But something has to change. What was supposed to happen was that we were buying time. If we went through door number 2, through tremendous sacrifice, the sacrifice of frontline workers and medical professionals and everyone who lost their job and every parent homeschooling their kid and every small business that was shuttered and everyone who just stayed home, through that sacrifice, we could buy time to put in place the governing capacity to make sure it would not happen again. We did none of that. We do not have the contact tracing capacity we need. We still do not have appropriate testing capacity. Look at this line for testing in Orlando, Florida today, before the testing site even opened. First car was waiting at 1 a.m. That's how desperate people are for their health, to find out if they're sick. And drivers were advised to come with a full tank of gas and working air conditioning. The Washington Post reports that a drive-up testing site in Phoenix, Arizona, was swarmed on Saturday by about 1,000 people, leaving some baking in their cars for hours. And so now it is happening again, another outbreak. Today, Texas Governor Greg Abbott shut bars back down as of noon. He scaled back restaurant capacity to 50%. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis ordered all bars shut down in his state, too, where, remember, they have almost 9,000 new cases today. We had 3 options. We had door number 1 with the pandemic rating out of control, door number 2, a shutdown with economic destruction, and we could have gone through door number 3. We could have found our way to some form of normal life. But our leaders did not do what was necessary to get there, and so we are stuck back with exactly the same horrible choice we had 14 weeks ago.